Hey students, I wanted to take a moment real quick to share with you a quick devotion as we'll continue to put out through the summer. We live in a world where independence is praised, and we look forward to gaining more and more independence. Right now, Larkin is dependent upon me and Aaron to cut his food and to cook his food and to make it into small enough pieces for him to be able to chew. As he gets older, he'll be able to do those things himself, and he'll be able to clean his room and make his own allowance and go out and buy his own things. Just like some of you guys are experiencing those independence, going out and getting a job. However, there are some things in life that we were never meant to fully do on our own, and one of those is our walk with Christ. Sure, accepting Christ is a personal decision that we must make. Apart from our family members, apart from our friends, we have to come to a relationship with God on our own. However, as we continue to grow in our walk with Christ, we were never called to do that alone. We were called to do it with one another through the strength and encouragement of other believers around us, and ultimately through depending on God Himself and the Holy Spirit. Sometimes we fall into the trap of thinking, I've got this. I know I'm guilty of it at times, and as soon as I do, I begin to stumble and fall. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12, it says, if you think you are standing strong, be careful not to fall. In other words, if you say, I've got this, just watch out, because you've got a target painted on your back. So my question for you is, who is helping you stand strong in the Lord? Galatians chapter 6, verse 1 and 2 says, dear brothers and sisters, if another believer is overcome by sin, you who are godly and gentle should gently and humbly help that person back onto the right path. And be careful not to fall into the same temptation. Share each other's burdens, and in this way you obey the law of Christ. And so together we share with one another's burdens. And together we help each other overcome the temptations that we face. And we're able to lean on a close friend in some of those temptations and struggles that we're going through. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Together we are able to challenge each other, encourage each other, and make each other stronger as we grow in our relationship with God. These verses show us that we should bear with one another and that we should challenge and encourage one another, and that a deep and close friendship that's centered on Christ can help us in our walk with God. So here's some tips. Maybe you're thinking to yourself, how do I find this person who can keep me accountable? Excuse me. Number one, they should be a Christian. They should be somebody who loves Jesus, somebody who wants to daily continue to become more like Christ. Second, they should be a trustworthy friend. If you're going to share your struggles, your victories, your trials and temptations with them, it should be somebody that you trust, and you should be somebody that they trust as well, as you grow each other and you walk with each other. They should be the same gender, because let's be honest, there are just some things that we don't talk as easily with the other gender. And they should be somebody in a close grade, someone who's someone who's also going through similar milestones in life as you. Maybe they're the same grade or a grade above or below you. And so find somebody who is that close friend, who has some of those same goals as you, to grow in their relationship with God. So what do? Maybe you're thinking, okay, I've got that person in mind. How do I even go about keeping each other accountable? Number one, meet occasionally. I think if we take a moment to see each other face to face as soon as we're able to, and we're able to encourage each other and talk to each other about the things that are going around, talk to each other about what you are spending time in God's Word with, talk to each other about what God has been teaching you lately, talk to each other about the things that you've been struggling with, or maybe the temptations that you've overcome. And as we spend time with one another, that friendship and fellowship grows as you grow your relationship with Christ. So meet occasionally. Second, talk often. Check in on one another through a text or through seeing each other in the hallway at school. Say, hey, how are you doing with this? Hey, I noticed that you were going to be reading these 3 chapters this week. How's that going? What has God taught you? Check in on one another. And then finally, pray often, or pray always. The Bible says to pray without ceasing. and to seek God first above all things. And so together, pray for one another, pray with one another as you grow your relationship with God. And so as you're going through this time and you're thinking, who is helping me stand strong in the Lord? Maybe somebody came to mind. Take a moment to share this video with them and ask them, would you consider being an accountability partner? If you need help with that, both myself and Daryl would be happy to help you. We look forward to the things that we're going to get to do this summer and the time that we'll get to spend with each other. And until then, God bless.